political economist, Professor Patrick Bond, who's also joining us now to discuss this further. Prof Patrick Bond, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. The medium-term budget policy statement is often an opportunity for us to have an assessment of what the global economic outlook looks like, following, of course, the February budget, and how that influences, how those external indices influence our medium-term outlook. And one such indicator is global economic performance. The IMF puts out that figure this time of the year, and we rely on that to adjust and temper our own expectations. The global economy is going to be growing at 3.2%, adjusted downwards from 3.3% over the medium term. South Africa will only be growing at 1.2% this year, as well as 1.8% over the medium term. It seems awfully unambitious for us to say, hey, the world is growing at double the rate we are, but we should accept this. What are we just simply not getting right to catch up with the rest of the world?
Well, thank you very much for having me, Oliver, and greetings to the viewers. I think that's right. The world economy.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Extraordinary.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
It has extraordinary volatility at the moment because of the AI bubble that Minister Godongwana mentioned, but also Donald Trump's very, very unusual way of negotiating. We were bearing the brunt of it, but other countries even worse, like Brazil and India, which got 50% tariffs. And the disruption of world trade is one of the reasons for continual reassessment of whether the economy can, continue to purr along. We've seen global value chains broken. We've seen the trade war from Donald Trump against China reverberate here, basically wrecking a big chunk of our steel industry as China has moved the exports that it couldn't sell in the U.S. To South Africa, and therefore ArcelorMittal unable to compete, closing some of its foundries. And we're seeing that with new tariffs being put by South Africa on China for steel, for washing machines, for nuts and bolts, for tires. And I think this is just going to continue while we have in the presidency a very volatile man, and particularly in financial markets like New York Stock Exchange, AI being an extraordinary overvaluation, and indeed South Africa's own stock market also terribly overvalued if you use the standard definition, market capitalization to GDP. We're basically third highest in the world. So those are some of the things that would make us, I'd say, prefer more caution in dealing with the world economy, perhaps even justifying a higher or tighter exchange control so we can have a lower interest rate, so that this debate about inflation targeting doesn't become one where extreme low inflation that is being targeted justifies higher rates.
Would we be able to absorb Trump's global tariff assault a little bit differently, a little bit better, if our political economy was differently arranged?
Yes, and especially if we could really find the BRICS working together. You might remember, Oliver, on September 8th, the president of Brazil, the host of the BRICS this year, Lula, who's now hosting the climate summit. But 2 months ago, he tried to put us all together as the BRICS countries into some alignment. And unfortunately, one by one, not only the 5 original BRICS, but most of the others were basically divided and ruled, and Lula now being the most recent. So we didn't see a collective response, the kind of response that China showed, the capability to fight back and to put a major threat to stop rare earth minerals export. And in fact, Gwede Mantashe had said much the same back in February, March, saying that we should be conscious that South Africa has platinum and chrome that the U.S. needs, and we're the main suppliers, so we could also do something to threaten those supplies as a counterforce. Instead, we've been very obsequious, and it's fairly clear in the last few days where Donald Trump is showing such enormous disrespect for the G20 process here, that the nice guy approach, the attempt to have a game of golf with Donald Trump just isn't working.
So if we're not going to be obsequious, as you put it, it means we would have to be recalcitrant in one way or the other to Donald Trump's attacks. Which would it be? And I want to frame it around what you say there at the tail end, around the commodities boom. We've seen a commodities boom in this cycle, similar to what we saw, although not at the same scale, to what we saw when Russia had invaded Ukraine in 2021. We've seen it something similar now with Donald Trump's tariff onslaught on the rest of the world. Are we, and of course, this is a good thing for us. It means we're selling more of our iron ore. Kumba put out really great numbers, South Africa's leading ore exporter. We're selling more of our gold, and of course, that's a good thing because it means that there's high demand, and of course, that commodity prices go up. And it means that we've got the rare earth metals and materials that the rest of the world needs, particularly Donald Trump. And it might be worth noting that there are no tariffs on those, except all the other stuff that we export to them. Are we utilizing the commodities advantage that we have correctly in being not obsequious and in this instance recalcitrant towards Donald Trump?
No, not at all. I think this is the dilemma that even someone like Wade and Natasha, resource nationalists, would acknowledge that it's multinational corporates and they send the non-renewable, depleted resources. Don't forget, somewhere like Johannesburg at one point had 50% of the world's historic gold and is now empty and can't keep the water pipes intact. So we're losing something that is for future generations if we consider sustainable development, the ability to pass to our children and grandchildren the wealth or to reinvest it. And so we haven't done that at all well. And that, I think, means probably, yes, gold is very, very high right now, $4,000 as opposed to $250 an ounce 25 years ago. So, but the other, minerals, if the world economy does weaken, they won't have the strong demand. And especially the overproduction from China of so many goods means we're going to see, I think, more recessionary tendencies, perhaps with a crash. I'm not the only one. I mean, there are plenty of sort of, bears out there thinking that we've really got to batten down and be more careful. And I would hope that instead of liberalizing and also celebrating our getting off the grey list, we actually take more care and stop illicit financial flows and therefore, be able to lower the interest rate and create internal growth.
Yeah, I mean, we're off the FATF lifts. Maybe it means we're doing better with illicit financial flows. And of course, as we know, every commodity really comes to an end eventually. Dr. Bond, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. That is Patrick Bond, political economist.